right, you are tuned into this edition of After the Show. This is the point where we allow you to meet some of our Soar hosts in a little more in depth. So I'm here with Danial Petrie, host of Soar Radio's Today's Best. What's going on, man?
Hey. What's up, man?
Long time no see.
Right.
Well, listen, for people that don't know or maybe living under a rock, who exactly is Danial Petrie?
Oh man, dude, I'm just a guy trying to be a better dad, a better community leader, and somebody who just, loves family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an author now. That's always fun to be able to throw on your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just an easygoing dude, man. But I love the city of Rockford, man. And I have a real passion for helping make change in our city.
So where did the passion come from? From trying to make change, from the love of your family. Where did that come from?
Yeah, God, really. About 6 years ago, I've been in inner city ministry, I guess, in a sense, for about 10 years. But really dove in head first about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And so, that was when I gave my life to Jesus. And then from that point on, it was all uphill. It was nothing but blessings ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've always had a passion for the last 10 years just because of the way I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And so
how did you grow up?
Yeah, well, I was in foster care.
Okay.
In and out of relationships. My mom was in and out of bad relationships, and so it just kind of always resonated with me. Kind of going back between her house and then the foster care family, and seeing what unsuccessful relationships look like, ways that I didn't want to be, have my children raised when I had children. Mm-hmm. I've always had a passion for kids like me. Mm-hmm. that grew up in terrible situations, right? And so, it's easy for me to have a passion for these kids, and when I'm doing things, I want to make sure that it's not just an event and then I leave, but we have a follow-up system in every event we have, so that we can get kids plugged into, summer programs and aftercare programs or sporting, programs or whatever it is that'll keep them off the streets. That's just, I don't know.
Because I think that's good, because I think people may see you on social media, maybe hear you on the show, and they don't really know who you are. Mm-hmm. And maybe they see you doing the fatherhood and various things, but I think it's important that people know it comes from when you were growing up, you didn't quite have that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
My dad was in prison my whole life. Mm-hmm. So, he went to prison when I was 3 years old, and that's when me and my sister got taken away and put into foster care. And, so I didn't get to have that relationship. My foster dad was the closest thing that I had to a father figure in my life. And so, in which he's a great guy, you know what I mean? I'll always be forever grateful for the things that he kind of taught me throughout life. But it's just, it just gives you an extra passion, an extra heart for fathers, and so when I was praying to God about the next project that I was going to launch, the Fatherhood Encouragement Project was it, and that launched in 2015, and now we're getting national attention, and so that's been an amazing journey as well.
So tell us a little bit about the Fatherhood Encouragement.
Yeah, the Fatherhood Encouragement Project is just, it's a group of dads, but essentially the mission is to help dads be encouraged and lift them up and hold them accountable through mentorship and authentic relationships. And so with that being said, we've seen, we teach fundamental type, leadership skills, but more so focus on affirmation leadership and teaching them how important it is to be wise with our words and speak life and truth over our children and our wives. And so we've been able to see testimonies come through the program, right? Through this group, lives have completely been changed. And so it's not just word of mouth of me just saying that this is happening. These are testimonies that continue to come out and they go public, and we're seeing dads marriages restored. We're seeing their children's relationships restored. We're seeing things happen that are success stories, right? But it's every single person that comes through here has a testimony.
And now you have the motherhood?
And now, we launched the Motherhood Encouragement Project in May.
Okay.
The dads started off with three dads, right? And the mom started off with 20.
Wow.
Okay? So you see how easy
women
it is.
always support more.
Yeah, women they're a lot more open to know that they need help, right? But men are more closed off, they're guarded, they're prideful. And so for them to be like, hey, you know what, I'm good on that, And we don't advertise this as a support group, because that's not what it is at all. I don't want any guys who are maybe watching this video or maybe have heard or seen me on Facebook or social media platforms, and they're like, yeah, that sounds like I don't need a psychologist, I don't need a psychiatrist, I don't need none of that. But that's not what it is. All it is a bunch of dads. We come hang out for 1 hour once a week. We just hang out. We do stuff together. We do community service events once a month. We do events with our children once a month where we invite dads to just bring their kids, and we go to like the bouncy houses, or we go to the trampoline park, or we go play dodgeball, or we go play basketball or bowling or whatever. So it really is just an opportunity to build healthy relationships with other guys.
And see, we know it's garnering some national attention as well, but you mentioned as well that you're an author now. So tell us about the book. How did that come about?
Yeah, so in October, God woke me up out of the middle of the night. And it was just, it was one of those things that just kind of happened. So in the middle of the night, I remember exactly what it was like I jumped out of bed and I just wrote down the power of you are. And that's all it was. I just wrote it on a pad of paper that night. And then the next day, I'm like, okay, God, what is that? And then I just felt like the Lord leading me to write a book. And he said, this is what it's going to be called. And I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. The power of you are, and it's really speaking of the words you are, right? So the power in those words you are, and so it's speaking affirmation over your children. So we teach. It's using biblical principle, biblical stories. My history as a parent and what I went through as a child, to kind of help parents understand that there's a completely different way that we need to parent our kids nowadays in the culture and society that we live in compared to maybe what it was 20 years ago. And so it's just a completely different mindset, it's a completely different approach to parenting. And it's The Power of You Are. It comes out February 23rd. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. There's a couple other bookstores that will have it. So I'm excited about that. I believe that lives are going to be changed with this book.
And before we wrap up and talk about the show, so the fatherhood, the motherhood, besides your other jobs you got going on, the author, who inspires you though, besides God? Who inspires you to keep going? Who keeps you? I often hear you talk about the word guardrails too. You got to be careful. So who inspires that?
Yeah, obviously our friendship has been huge for me. But I have some friends, Roy Rodriguez. He's been a great friend, mentor, and just a brother in Christ. And then Don George, has been a great friend and close. Pastor Kevin Kringle has been amazing out at Life Church. So those are people that I kind of keep close. The dads in the Fatherhood Encouragement Project, believe it or not, really inspire me to continue to minister and continue to kind of pursue life change and community change in our city. Because hearing their stories and their testimonies, it fills me up every week, right? That I get to hear these dads, and whether it's a struggle or something that I can help them walk through, or something that they can help me walk through, right? And so, that's kind of what continues to inspire me and kind of help me pursue the things that I still desire.
So Mondays, Today's Best comes on at noon every Monday, noon to 2.
It does.
What goes on the show?
Yeah, there's a few different things. One is we wanted to bring a new a new tone, a new group of listeners to Soar Radio. So the contemporary Christian artists, it's bringing in a lot of new listeners. We're really excited about that. So thank you guys for continuing to tune into Soar Radio every Monday from 12 to 2. But we also want to continue to plug in our local artists, right? We want to make sure that we're giving them a platform. Gospel singers, Christian rappers, other artists that are local. We want to make sure that we're giving them a platform and giving them an audience to hear their music. But we want to talk about some of the amazing things that we have coming on in our city, because the things that you don't hear about are often the things with the biggest impact, right? And so we want to make sure that people are knowing about different events that we have with Soar Radio or the Fatherhood Encouragement Project or other organizations that might be doing some amazing things. It's also an encouraging and inspirational 2 hours. So there's things, with biblical stories, there's biblical truth that we speak, over our listeners, and we just want to be an encouragement so that when they tune in for 2 hours every Monday, that they are ready for the rest of their week.
So the last thing I want to ask you before we go is, obviously you're Caucasian, but you're connected a lot. If they didn't know. But we always see you in the community with a lot of African Americans and different things, and we know you do fatherhood encouragement, and sometimes it gets backlash and critics are saying, well, why are you guys honoring fathers when they're supposed to be doing that, or why are you always connected with African? What's your if you could tell people that don't really know you or always wonder you're connected with that, what's that about?
Well, I'll tell you what, to address the African American friendships that I have or mentorship opportunities that I've been able to be blessed with, I will say this, is that when I was growing up, it was always the black family next door, right? And that would always invite me in and feed me when I was hungry and take care of me, and their dad would speak truth over me. And then it was always the neighbors down the street, right? I mean, we lived on the west side of Rockford, so it was like, really it was an opportunity there where I didn't see color because they loved on me, right? And nobody told me that I should hate black folks. And seeing a lot of the folks that I grew up with were all black. I was really like the only white person on my basketball team growing up. You know what I mean? So it was like it was just a thing for me. I never see color. Even to this day, do I realize that there are racial tensions and things that need to be addressed in our community? Absolutely, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that, look, for me and my family, my son sees no color, right? He's 8 years old, right? And he's got uncles. Most of them are all black, right? So Uncle Justin, right? So, so that's just kind of that kind of addresses that. I grew up around black families. I was eating the greens and the cornbread and, all these like different meals that culturally I didn't have from a white family, and so that was normal to me. But then, to address the other part of the criticisms that we've been getting, from the most part, single moms, right, have been kind of reaching out and, criticizing certain things. Is that hear my heart here is that I understand that as a single moms go through a ton of crap, right? They go through a ton of different circumstances that leave them bitter and hurt because someone walked out on them or isn't providing for their children. But that's not this, okay? This is a bunch of dads that we want to start an initiative in the city of Rockford and in the world, in the country that we live in, to get dads more active, get dads more involved, get dads to understand their importance as a father, okay? And so with the Fatherhood Encouragement Project Award Banquet, we're celebrating dads who are involved, who are, there every day, the ones that want to be involved, the ones that have just been amazing leaders in their families and in their communities. And so what we want to do is we want that to inspire dads who maybe haven't been as involved, and obviously there's a lot of situations where one of the other parents is using their children to hurt the other parent, whereas that child had that's not their fault.
And you have full custody of your son.
I do. I have full physical custody of my son, and it's amazing. And his mom and I have a great relationship now, and Braden sees her, 3 days a week, and it works, and it's fantastic. And so, but we had to go through some real roadblocks to get to where we are now, and so it's never easy. But I just want to say it's like, just because you're bitter and hurt from something that was in your past, don't criticize a movement that is trying to help you in the long run, okay? Because what we want to do is we want that dad that's not involved, that you're bitter and hurt about, to see the initiative and be excited, and then all of a sudden say, hey, you know what? Let something click in their head like, man, I need to be more involved. I need to be more involved. And so, just let the process play out. And the Motherhood Encouragement Project will be a great place for you to start as a single mom, because it's a bunch of groups of moms that just love each other and encourage each other, are there for each other, have, different nights that they kind of minister to each other and hang out like families. And it's just an amazing, amazing ministry.
Well, 3 quick fun facts before we go. What's something that people don't know about you that may surprise them?
I can sing a little bit.
Okay.
Yep. I can sing. I got some soul, believe it or not. Yeah. I can sing a little bit. Okay. Not a lot of people know, but when I do open up my mouth, they're like, "Oh, snap!" Like I was worshiping at Life Church. This lady turned around like, "Oh, God." Yeah. I was like, "Oh, my bad."
2. If you could interview anybody on your show, who'd it be?
Jamie Foxx.
Funny.
Yeah, funny, Jamie Foxx, man. Not just because he's funny, just because I don't know why, but ever since, shows growing up, watching him sing with the piano, it's just been wow. Like the Jamie Foxx show was like a thing I grew up, and I've always been connected. And when he started releasing albums, I was like, dude, what?
Dude is cold.
Oh yeah, he can sing. So I would love to interview Jamie Foxx.
The final thing. Take me in your phone, your text, the top, if your threads, who has the most text messages in your phone, the top 3 people?
My wife, you, and I would probably say
Braden,
my son.
Yeah. Now he texts.
My son texts me.
The phone.
Yeah, all the time.
Well, don't forget, every Monday at noon. You don't want to miss today's best. And The Power of You are February 23rd.
Yeah, February 23rd.
Make sure you get that everywhere where books are sold. Y'all be blessed.